Speaking about regulations, a Nigerian startup is about to exit the Ghanaian market after the Bank of Ghana declared their service illegal. So what happened there, and who's taking this up for us? Chingozi.
Yes, thank you for that question. So LemFi,
It just sounded like a politician that want to lie on national TV.
Thank you so much for that question, Mano.
so LemFi is a fintech, Nigerian founded, because these days you don't even know which one is Nigerian, but it's basically a remittance startup that helps immigrants in UK, Canada, the US to send money back home. So they've exited or suspended their operations in Ghana, and right now users can't send money to Ghana like they used to. They didn't give a reason for the suspension of those activities, but I guess you can draw some conclusions based on what has happened. So a little over a week ago, the Bank of Ghana said about 7 companies were operating without a license in Ghana, and LemFi was one of them. So they basically want financial institutions in the country to stop doing business with them. So 1 week later, we are hearing that they are suspending activities in the country. So we've reached out to LemFi to get an official response, but so far nothing has been heard. But yeah, that's...
So it's headed by Ridwan.
Yeah, Olalere.
Yeah, it's former OP executive. Interesting. So I'm guessing at this point, I need to point out something that if you want to sell your vision to customers, you should also be selling your vision to regulators so that they understand what you're doing. So,
Stakeholder management 101.
Stakeholder management relationship. So yeah. And we are the podcast. We have something for you. Our school is offering a 20% discount on their high impact selling course. So you can navigate not just selling to make money, but selling to even keep your business legal to regulators. So yeah, we'll come back to that. We'll give you more details towards the end of this thing, but I just wanted to point that out. Did that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It does.
So, yeah. I don't think they have much to say about LemFi. But
I don't know if it's LemFi. I think it's Ghana.
Why do you say so?
What's special about Ghana?
It's not like Ghana. I think it's the way African countries and the way regulation is chasing innovation and having to come up with licenses to fit some particular services. So I think that is the case here. And it happened with Kenya too. And there was a time, I think, license for lending platforms or lending companies. So they had to do it in phases where they start giving licenses to these lenders. So I think that's just what is going on in Ghana, and it's a phase that we pass.
So, I used to agree with this notion of innovation chasing regulation chasing innovation. But I've seen enough in the startup space to realize that most of the time we just want to cut corners instead of following due process. And here is it. There's something Oswald said at an event from the guy behind the Nigerian Startup Act, like the main face of the Nigerian Startup Act. He said something. He said, where you entrepreneurs are seeing disruption, the regulators are seeing displacement. It means whatever existing structure was there before, you are coming to displace it. Whoever was benefiting from that structure, you are coming to displace them. Whoever was protected by that structure, you're coming to displace them. So if LemFi is coming to Ghana and is offering remittance services, what existing structure is LemFi displacing?
Okay.
What existing system has the Ghanaian government created to protect their citizens from cross-border remittance fraud? Is LemFi in any violation of whatever their rules are? Okay. But yes, what I'm saying is, I agree with you. Innovation always outpaces regulation, but sometimes
Before they entered the market at all, they should have had those conversations.
Yeah. So just to add, two things actually. So spoke with the CEO of iInvest a few weeks back, and he mentioned something when he wanted to set up his first company. He was coming back from the UK, and there was no regulatory framework. So he had two options. You could go ahead and set up, and then wait for the regulator to come after you. But he said they spent about a year speaking to regulators, and like not just him, with a few other guys, spoke to regulators, like just trying to get them to understand what they were trying to do. And in the end, the FCC passed a regulation that allowed them to start the company they wanted to start. So it took a while, of course, but they didn't have any issue of maybe a year or two after you've launched, then someone is coming after you saying, no, you don't have any approval for this. Also, the CBN, that's Nigeria Central Bank, has also hinted, or at least the CBN governor has hinted at reviewing the regulatory framework for payment.
Fintechs, payment services
and
providers.
He also made the same, a similar argument. And he said some payment startups are operating outside the regulatory frameworks that they are supposed to be operating with. So maybe they're offering additional services that they are licensed.
They might have even seen an innovative loophole
that they are using. And they're looking at you and they're like, you shouldn't be doing this. So I think it's very, very important, especially with everything we've seen in the last 1 year, where there's more talk about corporate governance and all. You actually need someone or some people that are helping you with these conversations. I mean, today I saw something on Twitter. Someone said, with the new changes at the CBN, that's new relationship building for anybody building in fintech. So you should actually take that regulation part very seriously.
So as long as it's fintech, I can understand almost nearly other sector. But it's fintech, it's people's money.
It's
very easy for you to upend the lives of 10,000 people. You may think you're small. 10,000 customers doesn't look like a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you know the days of MLM, all these Ponzi schemes, I think there was this Forex one, can't remember the name, MBA Forex. The day the thing went bust, like people across at least 4 or 5 states had to go to the so-called offices they had given. Now, if you're the regulator and someone comes to you, so speaking too much, but sometimes we often forget the impact of just one small mistake.
Yeah.
So I was watching a podcast yesterday, and Kola Eno said something. He said when Tribe Agric had the issues they had in 2020, he had been promoting Tribe Agric as an investor. And he said he got the DM. The guy said, I invested my money into Tribe Agric. I wanted to use this money to relocate. And he said, what do you tell someone like this? So
his life has literally been upended.
Exactly. He has lost that money. So yes, Tribe Agric was able to finally repay. But when regulators put these so-called obstacles, it's to protect the customer as much as it protects you.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So I don't think I have any other thing to say. Everything as little as not asking for password before I log into my. They know themselves. Those companies. Like I can just open my app and it just you don't ask me for any authentication. You don't ask me for fingerprint. Nothing.
Which means if your phone is stolen,
in your mind you are doing seamless.
There's even obstacles are there for a reason. And you can check out my interview with Esige Agwele of Verify Me about the whole issue with identity and fraud in the financial sector. So yeah, with everything, balance is important. So